and welcome back to Belle's Books. Today I'm going to be talking about The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collin. Before anything else, I would absolutely love for you to like, comment and subscribe to me. I'd really appreciate that. My Instagram, if you'd like to follow that, is @bellesbooks, and I have a website, www.bellesbooks.co.uk, if you're interested in checking out more of my content. So, if you've subscribed, let's continue. I was so surprised to hear that this book was coming out because it has been such a long time since Suzanne Collin finished writing The Hunger Games, and I was kind of under the impression that she was just never going to write anything in that universe again. I was really excited when I heard this was coming out, and I just couldn't wait to read it. I thought I would begin by giving you a short synopsis of the book. I describe this book as elevated young adult because it is suitable for young adult readership and it fits in with her previous young adult books, but this one seems to have a more elevated, distinctive tone that would make it enjoyable to an older reader, I think. And I'm an older reader, and I enjoyed it, so, you know. Set 64 years before the events of the Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes offers a background of Coriolanus Snow, the man who will eventually become President Snow, ruler of Panem. In the novel, Snow's in his final year of school. He's dirt poor and hiding it when he's assigned to mentor the District 12 female tribute, Lucy. As their relationship changes, so does Snow. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes seems to really just focus on answering two questions from the Hunger Games. First of all, how did President Snow become President Snow? And how did the Hunger Games become the Hunger Games? What did I think of this book? There are going to be no spoilers in this section, so don't worry about that. I'm just going to tell you my general thoughts and then tell you if I think that you should read it. First of all, know that this book is different from the Hunger Games. Collin's writing style has changed a little. She focuses on character development rather than plot, and I think this is for the better because the book seems much more literary in nature. It's a really genuinely wonderful read if you already know and love the Hunger Games. You might notice I keep referring back to those books, and that's because I don't see how this book could have much significance for you if you haven't already read the trilogy. Collin seems to have written for a readership who read her original books and wanted more. This sounds a little negative, but I actually think that because of that objective, the book was really defined and it was made more effective for her intended reader. It seemed to me that Collin had this backstory in mind when she wrote The Hunger Games. That's how excellently written The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is. The entire novel is an explanation of how President Snow became himself and how the Hunger Games came to exist. It's excellently done. She references all kinds of motifs, the songs, the locations from the Hunger Games, and it's a really wonderful example of reverse foreshadowing, and I admire her as a writer for how fluidly and competently she pulled this off. I found it so interesting how Collin justified the extreme and almost unbelievable setting of her original trilogy through this novel. She manages to explain how and why events and situations and attitudes came to be, and she illustrates the gradual nature of this process and how extensively it was fueled by fear. The Hunger Games is literally made more realistic, more plausible by this prequel novel. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes makes it very clear that President Snow wasn't the first evil man, and he certainly won't be the last, despite the outcome of the original trilogy. I found this quote that I'm about to read to you really interesting. "You can blame it on the circumstances, the environment, but you made the choices you made, no one else. It's a lot to take in all at once, but it's essential that you make an effort to answer that question. Who are human beings? Because who we are determines the type of governing we need." As you follow Snow on his journey, Collin explores accountability and encourages the reader to consider the difference between nature and nurture. As the reader, you're left to decide, was Snow always this way? Is it his nature to be evil? Or was he nurtured along a path of evil by those surrounding him? This difficult question is made even more difficult by this kind of follow-up idea. Does it matter? He was evil in the end. He did bad things in the end. So does it really matter how he got there? I found this really thought-provoking. Let me know your thoughts on that though. This book was definitely a favourite. I really recommend you read it. That being said, I think that you need to read The Hunger Games to fully appreciate this prequel. So if you haven't already, then definitely do that first. It's an interesting conundrum because it is a prequel, so you'd expect it to be better when read before the trilogy, but like I said earlier, I really think that Collin wrote it for her original readership, and that's why it works so well when read after the original trilogy. So if you love this, then I have some great book recommendations for you today. In the description box down below, you can find links to purchase all these books. First of all, Divergent by Veronica Roth. That is a dystopian young adult. Then The Uglies by Scott Westerfeld, also dystopian YA. Then Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card, and this is dystopia science fiction, and it's actually one of my favorite books I've ever read. Then we have The Testing by Joel Charbonneau. This is dystopia YA. Matched by Ali Condi, dystopia YA. Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. This is a classic, but it's also dystopia. And finally, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please let me know in the comments down below, did you enjoy this book? What did you think? Do you have any book recommendations for me? Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.